You're dating, but you're insecure. You say you have all these high standards, but the people that you date don't quite reflect those standards. Before we go any further, I want you to think back on the last 3 people that you dated. Think about them really hard. Envision them. Now ask yourself, would you spin the block? It's okay, because I know the answer is probably no. What's up, ladies, and welcome back to another episode of Her Clarity Space. If you are new here, welcome to the space. You have just entered into a safe space. I am your girl, Jess. Today, we're going to be talking about dating, and not just any kind of dating, but dating while insecure. Now, I am a professional at this because majority of my dating life, I was insecure. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys were too, because insecurity isn't always just you feeling like you're not pretty, you're feeling like your body isn't tea. You can be insecure about just about anything. Sometimes you're insecure because you have a roommate. Sometimes you're insecure because you didn't finish college. Sometimes you're insecure because hell, you're just insecure. You just are not satisfied with yourself. And that is completely okay. Because I feel like once we fix one thing, we're trying to work on another. But what we don't want your insecurities to reflect your relationships. One of the first ways insecurities can affect your relationships is the projection. The projection. So many times, we're in relationships and we think that our partners are saying the things that we're thinking about ourselves, and we take it out on them. We lash out at them and we think that they're taking jabs at us or they're making fun of us. And that's probably more than likely not the case, because I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you wouldn't actually be with someone that you think doesn't respect you, that you think doesn't really like you. And if you are doing that, then that is also an effect of your insecurities. And we're going to get to that point later. One of the most common things that I've even seen couples make jokes about this on social media, is when you have the girl come out the room and she'll have on a nice little dress and she asks her partner, like, babe, what do you think about this? And he's like, oh, it's cool, and she's like, oh, so you think I look fat? And it's like, wait, what? While that may be funny, there are a lot of us that think like that. There are a lot of us that do that. And I want to tell you, it's not fair. It's not right. Do not think that it's your partner's responsibility to help you deal with your insecurities, because it's not. And it's also not an excuse for you to use your insecurity to attack your partner and putting words in their mouths and saying that they're saying things when they're actually not. It's your job to work on your insecurities. Now, as long as you're aware of your insecurities and you can share those with your partner, but you don't want a person to be walking on eggshells around you because they're so afraid that you're going to be offended by the simplest thing. Now, on the flip side, you may see this happen a lot when it comes to men and their financial status. They can be very, very, very insecure about their bank account when they are financially struggling. But when it comes to us, women, one of the major things that we are insecure about is our appearance. And sometimes, unfortunately, it can sabotage your relationship. It can really get in the way of your relationship, because not only will you start to project, you may also lose your sex drive because you don't feel like you're sexy enough. You may also feel like your partner is not attracted to you because in your mind, you're not attractive. So we have to work at our insecurities. We have to work at managing them. It's not to say that you will get to a point where you never have insecurities, but you have to be able to keep them under control to make sure that they're not sabotaging your relationships. Now, this next point is one of the scariest points for me, because I'm so afraid of people when they're dating and they're having insecurities and they date people and they attract people that feed those insecurities. So if you're someone who feels some type of way about your weight and you end up dating somebody and that person is always pointing out your weight, always pointing out how much you're eating, always pointing out the things that you're insecure about, and it's feeding the insecurity, and it can send you into a depression. And I know sometimes we may see it as they're being supportive, but there's a way to support someone, and constantly calling out a person's insecurity is not support. Saying something like, oh, babe, let's try to eat this for dinner instead of that, or let's go for a walk together, let's go to the gym together. I feel like those are healthier ways for your partner to be supportive, rather than always saying something that comes off negative, always pointing out how your outfit fits, or why would you wear that hairstyle? Maybe you're somebody that's insecure about your hair, and them always calling out, how it doesn't look right, or why would you get this color or that color. It's a very, very dangerous space to be in, because some people get a kick out of that. Some people really enjoy making others feel low, and you don't want to get caught up in that cycle. And one of the things I do want to warn you about is it usually doesn't show up right away. So they usually don't automatically start calling these things out until you're deeper into the relationship. And I just want to urge you, do not try to change the person. Do not try to fix them. Do not try to do things to appease them, unhealthy eating habits or anything like that, because it's going to make your mental health worse. It's going to push you into a depression that is going to feel nearly impossible to get out of. Because when you're beating down on yourself, and then you have someone else that is close to you that you care about beating down on you as well, it's going to be really, really hard for you to get yourself out of that hole. So I just want to urge you that if you're ever with someone and you see them taking pleasure in making you feel bad about yourself, get out of that relationship immediately. There doesn't need to be a conversation that's had. There doesn't need to be anything to work through. And I'm not one to really tell anybody to leave a relationship, but I'm telling you from experience, people that get off on making you feel horrible about yourself, they already feel horrible about themselves. And you can't fix them. So the moment that you see that they get pleasure out of making you feel bad, get out of the relationship. Now let's talk about the biggest one, settling. Please, ladies, do not settle. Do not settle. I am an advocate for working on yourself, getting to the level that you want to be at. And if you feel like there's something that you need to do to get to a higher level for you to feel confident enough to date the man that you want, you do that. You do that. There's nothing wrong with becoming a better version to get what you want. And I know a lot of people say like, well, if I'm overweight, why do I want to lose weight to try and attract a certain type of man? Listen, if that's the kind of man that you want, if the man that you want is a fitness guru and he has a six pack and he eats like this and he does this and he has all these habits, it's just not realistic for you to have bad eating habits and the person that you're attracted to has great eating habits and really takes care of themselves. And also getting away from weight. If you want a man of a certain stature, you probably can't hang out in the same places that you're used to hanging out in. Maybe you can pick up some new hobbies that will actually make you guys cross paths instead of doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome, because that is literally insanity. And I want to address this a little bit further because, like I said, I have heard people say that they're not willing to change themselves just to get a man. I agree with that to an extent. But if you're a fisherman and you're trying to catch a certain kind of fish, you got to change the bait. It's the name of the game, literally. It's literally the name of the game. If you want to catch a certain type of fish, you have to use a certain type of bait. Now, if you don't want to be in the game, if you don't want to play the game, that's fine. There are some exceptions to the rules. There are some people that don't change a thing and still get the man that they want. They don't change a thing before they get into the relationship. But I can almost guarantee you that they change some things after they get into the relationship. And it's not so much because the man is making them change. But when you're around people for a certain period of time, you'll want to change. It's no different from you dating somebody who's heavily into sports. If you guys continue to date and you're hanging around each other, chilling at each other's houses, you're more than likely probably going to end up watching the sports. Now, I'm not saying that you're probably going to fall in love with it, but you may end up having a favorite team or two. I don't know. But it happens like that sometimes. When you are with someone, sometimes you end up picking up their habits. And you don't want to be with someone who has way more bad habits than good habits for you to pick up, especially when you already have bad habits of your own. So just to bring this back around full circle, your insecurities can fuel you to settle. Because you don't want to make changes. You don't want to try new things. You don't want to go into different spaces. And sometimes you just flat out don't feel like you deserve better. You feel like, well, this is what I deserve. The people that you date are a mirror of you. And when I say a mirror of you, it doesn't mean that you are that person. But that person is what you feel like you deserve at that time. Because if you didn't feel like that's what you deserved, why would you commit yourself to them? Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm trying to be happy out here in this life. They say to live every day like it's your last, and you literally have to do just that. So let's commit the rest of this year to going after what we want.